Proud to report that Matthew Cozy and myself now cover a playoff team.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you. On all things Cubs. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. For the first time in a full season since 2018, the Cubs are going to the postseason. They clinched a playoff spot by completing a sweep over the Pirates on Wednesday. We'll recap the final game and preview the Red Series later in the show, as well as give a big update on Kyle Tucker and an update to the playoff roster projection. Cubs did make the playoffs in a shortened year in 2020. It's been up and down ever since. The purge of 21, Sam, the rebuild of 22, the collapse down the stretch in 23, and then last year, really a lot of nothing, out of contention by the All-Star break. We took over this show for most of that, July 5th, 2022 to be exact. And what a moment this is for our favorite team as they return to the promised land.
Spectacular. It was one of those things where it felt like a given for a while, but when it actually happens, it truly is different. And like I said on yesterday's show, it truly does feel a little bit different for me, because now it's the first time the Cubs have been in the playoffs where I covered the team and you cover the team. And it's been great. I mean, you said it. I mean, just a lot of reflection. Like when we took over in 22, ironically, when we took over in 22, they closed that year well, and there was some buzz, right? It was like, hey, maybe this thing could be, ready to rock and roll in 23. And we had such high hopes in 23 because it was our first full year covering it. When you start covering the team in the middle of the year, when they're not going anywhere, it's kind of like, it's amazing, but it was our first chance to cover a real season. And there were so many ups and downs, but by this time, or maybe a couple weeks earlier, it felt like we were going to get that playoff moment and that playoff taste, and it was ripped away from us. And the offseason heading into 24 was fun because of the council thing. But outside of that, the calendar year 2024 for the Chicago Cubs, was awful. It was just a whole lot of nothing. So to come back here and have the exciting April, May, end of March situation, and to clinch a playoff spot with, 9 now to go? 10
games left.
Yeah, with 10 games left. Very cool moment, and I definitely took some time today to just kind of sit down and reflect that.
Yeah, I do think this is the biggest moment that we've been a part of. Bigger than Council getting hired, bigger than Tucker being acquired.
How about bigger than the Candelario trade?
Okay. In 23.
How about the Paredes deal? Sorry.
Hey, that was a big deal.
Sorry.
At the time. That was a surprise trade.
Right.
I just remember every game in 2023 being so high stakes.
Yeah, it's too much.
Though the Cubs did that to themselves in a way when they started 12-7, then built the huge hole.
Right.
But then around Labor Day or so, they're in a playoff spot, 90+%. They don't make it. Then 6 weeks later, they fire their manager. They hire the best free agent manager available. They've tinkered with their team. They've added with their team the last couple of years. 9 months ago, they get a legitimate star player in a trade that no one saw coming. Just a few days later, boom, it happens.
Was that in 25 or 24?
That was December 13th, 2024. Kyle Tucker acquired. And I believe that happened like fifth, sixth period. And I called you from one of our breakout rooms to go over the game plan for the emergency episode and the Knights plans as well. But this is an
Heyman,
incredible time.
John Heyman reported that he has me blocked.
But it's the biggest moment because they could win the World Series, literally. They're eligible to win the World Series.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And you better believe that I will be making the case why they could do that prior to September 30th.
Yeah, I think that's number one. And then number two is just finally, it's kind of like a hitter who's in a big slump, right? And they make a mechanical change or they do something, and then they finally get a couple of base hits, right? And you see the proper positive feedback. It's just nice to see a postseason team. It's nice to just go through this process and just say, hey, look, there's plenty of things that I disagree with how the Cubs run things. I don't think that's a secret. But they're obviously to have a year where you're going to win 90 plus and you're going to play October meaningful playoff baseball. It's just nice. Like at least now this offseason, we could say, hey, at least they made the playoffs. Hey, there's obviously some sort of successful formula in there. Now, how successful, we're going to find out September 30th, probably at noon, by the way. Just want to put that out there.
Cubs, you have some intel?
I think they might be the early game because if the Red Sox play the Yankees, they're going to get they're going to get the prime time. And then the Dodgers are going to play, they're going to get the West Coast. And I don't think it's fair to the players to start the game at 3 when the Shades are rolling in at Wrigley.
So you're telling me the first time in 5 years, really 7, since the Cubs made the playoffs.
It's just a theory.
And they're going to play at 12:07 Central?
If the Red Sox and Yankees play, well, I'd rather 12. Well, I know for you, 12:07 would be terrible. But I don't want the players playing at 3:07 when you can't see with the shade and all that stuff for the first 6 innings.
So you're saying they're going to play at noon because of the shade?
I'm saying if the Red Sox and Yankees match up, then yes.
I'm going to have to talk to some of my sources over at really both 670 and Marquee. I'm sure they're getting some intel now that the Cubs clinched. I was going to tell you off the air, I think they're going to play at 3.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 12 or 3. But I just think is that do you want to play a playoff game at Wrigley Field when the shade is how it is at the end of a 120 game? I don't know. It just feels a little weird. Like maybe they don't take that into consideration.
No, it is.
I got off track. Sorry.
Well, no, the other big moment of reflection today
You're probably right. Threes makes more sense.
The last couple of times they made the playoffs, basically no one from those teams is around.
Yeah, just
And Jed Hoyer has really had his imprints on this team. He must be really enjoying today. I mean, we could go down the list of names, in a future episode, but from drafts to free agent to trades. And then Craig Counsell, to me, Sam, is a huge storyline coming up because I think what we've learned, is it fair to say, he doesn't really chase wins. Like he'll put them in his pocket, or he may even, and he would never go on record, he may even punt. But the playoffs, like that's the job. You have to chase wins, especially in the wild card when there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he's a huge storyline in a couple weeks.
Well, and he's also not had a great deal of success in the postseason.
Right. That's right.
I think the coolest moment for me, and I haven't had a chance to watch all of it yet.
The post-game coverage, by the way, in Marquee was just fantastic.
Yeah, I watched a good amount of it. Just seeing Hap pop the champagne. And
he was crying
in the circle, just because even though Hap was a part of 17 and a part of 18 and a part of 20, for whatever reason, I associate him with 21, 22, and 23 much more.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to see him actually be, one of the leaders and to finally get to the mountain there, I thought was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and really it's him and Nico Horner, Sam.
Yep. And
they were basically on the brink of tears, both of those guys.
And those two guys have carried the team here for the last month.
They have some poetry for sure. All right, how'd the Cubs do this? We mean on Wednesday. They got off the brooms. They swept the Pirates. We talk about that next. Today's episode is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. You're going to love most how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. So many great flavors, so many options to choose from, and all of them are the perfect option to try next. So enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Get a pick-me-up during the day with 5-Hour Energy. Shout out to the everydayers. You become a Locked On Cubs everydayer by joining us for every episode throughout the week. Cubs swept the Pirates thanks to an 8-4 win on Wednesday afternoon. Matthew Boyd struggled again, but the offense and bullpen picked him up. Cubs got 4 in the first, half their runs, 3 in the sixth, 1 in the eighth. Ian Happ hit a 2-run homer. Moises Ballesteros, who's been added to my playoff roster, which we'll update later, he homered. Michael Busch, he had a sacrifice fly to break the 4-4 tie at the time. And late in the game as well, Justin Turner drove in 2 runs with 2 singles. A couple pitching notes here. Aaron Savali pitched 3 shutout. After that really helped. That was Hodge was a bridge to Savali after Boyd gave up 4 runs on 7 hits and 2 walks in only 3 frames. And Pomerantz and Rogers also threw an inning. Nico Horner went 2 for 4 and now has the batting average up to 303. The Cubs might have the batting champion on their team en route to the postseason. All right, Sam, it wasn't an easy win, but they got the job done.
Yeah, it was a win where it looked like it was wrapped up in the first. And I was actually interested to watch this game because Oviedo had been throwing the ball well. And then in the first inning, he didn't know where the ball was going. And then, unfortunately, Matthew Boyd just continued this stretch of you calling this about a month ago. Believe it or not, saying that
whenever the start was after Milwaukee, I got concerned.
Yeah, and I there were some starts in there where I thought things were fine, but it's a real thing now. We don't have to talk about it today, but I'd be shocked if he got the ball in game 1 or 2. That would be shocking. But the bullpen, as you said, was excellent. I mean, Aaron Savali's come here; he's done a nice job.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, 3 appearances. Yep.
And I mean, it was nice to see Turner off the bench, the Ballesteros homer. But for me, Ian continues to do some amazing things. If he wants to hit 3 more home runs, he would make all my bold predictions come true. But I don't think that's, well, I guess he could do 3 and 10. It's possible. And Nico Horner is just, he looks like a guy that is like on a mission here. He's
possessed.
Yeah, that's how it looks. I mean,
yeah,
he's in one of those stretches I haven't seen a Cub get to. Probably Tucker, maybe at the end of March, where you're just surprised if he makes an out.
Absolutely, yeah. You expect him to get a hit.
Yeah, I mean it's spectacular.
Yeah, it was nice to see that. I'm glad
two away from 30 steals too.
Yeah, no, that would be a milestone as well. I was glad to see them not only take the lead, but then pull away. There was a couple chances where they could put the game away, and they pretty much did that. There was actually one, Shaw hit that rocket, and Canario made a nice catch. That was a chance to put it away. But then the next inning, the next couple innings, they did that anyways. So it was really, really good to see. I think there's a small chance that a Savali could make it over an Assad or something like that, or Hodge.
Yeah.
But that would probably be in the NLDS. I'm not sure about the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
You probably want guys who could pitch in a shorter stints.
You want to have one guy just in case. You want to have one.
I think it's going to be Colin Ray.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yep.
Is there any chance they go game one, Sam? Okay, I know this is a little extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Horton starts.
Yep.
Boyd follows. And you go all in on the game one. You win game one. And then you go Shota to traditional bullpen game two.
No chance. Because we don't
that could help your bullpen as well.
But
just Horton and Boyd pitch one game.
But you don't Boyd doesn't. What if Boyd's isn't comfortable with that? And then you know what I mean. Why not just go Cade for 5-6 to a guys that we know can succeed in that role? Yeah,
well, one reason would be they're completely rested for the clinching game.
Yeah, I think that's too extreme.
Okay. Which is why I put that qualifier on it.
Yeah.
But, these guys should buy in for whatever it takes to win the World Series.
No, I think Boyd would do it. But
okay.
I'd rather you don't want to mess with what got you to the dance. At the end of the day, Boyd starting still works. No. I don't want to see his first ever relief appearance in the most important part of the season. You know what I mean?
Right.
Most important game of the season.
Right.
So no, I mean, you have some really good suggestions. I'd like to deflect that one.
How much have you researched the Padres so far? Because I think that's our next step.
Now that's a great question. How much have I researched them? I watch a lot of baseball. Obviously.
And how much are the Cubs, by the way?
Yeah, starting now. I watch a lot of ball. So I know a good amount about them, but I wouldn't say I've gone out of my way to research them at all. Okay. Just off the top of my head, I have one massive fear, and that's Luis Arraez in the postseason. I don't like facing guys like Nico Horner or Luis Arraez. If he comes up at a clutch spot, I'm terrified. You know what you're getting with Machado, Tatis. Merrill's had a down year. They made a bunch of moves. They got like Ramon Laureano and O'Hearn now and a lot of platoons. It's their start, and we know their strengths, their bullpen. It's their starters that are kind of the big mystery. I don't even know who they're going to pitch in what order. Is it going to be King, Cease, Darvish? Is that what you would say?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the rotation has been their major weakness down the stretch.
Yeah, so you know. I'll put it to you like this, and we're about to talk about this. If Kyle Tucker is healthy, the Cubs should be favored in that series, and if they lost, it would be a disappointment. Yeah. They could handle San Diego at Wrigley Field. Now, if this game was in San Diego, totally different ball game. Right. But at Wrigley Field, with that crowd willing you and these pitchers that you got going, I think the Cubs are going to have a real good shot.
Cubs have 10 games in the regular season left, 4 against the Reds the next 4 days. 6:15 exclusively on Fox Thursday, then 2 5:40 starts in a row, then an early one Sunday, 12:40. Cubs have not announced their starters. But for the Reds, it's their 4 best guys, Green, Lodolo, Littell, and Abbott. And I think you're going to see Colin Ray this series. Shota.
Well, if the Reds want any chance, they're going to have to win all 4 games.
Yeah, no, these are playoff games for them.
Yep.
And for the Cubs, I do wonder. I'm just thinking about Thursday right now because I do think it's going to be a challenging series because the Reds are just going all out.
Sure, and the Cubs,
and that's on them and less on the Cubs. I do think Thursday you're going to see like Willie Castro lead off, and Santana and Turner.
Yeah.
Ballesteros.
Well, you might see Ballesteros September 30th.
Wow. All right. Well, before we get out of here, let's make sure to update the playoff roster. I have him on it now instead of Billy Hamilton. Sorry, Billy. A couple pitcher changes as well. Before we do that, major update on Kyle Tucker next.
This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify that you aren't saving as much as you thought, like I identified, because all I do is spend money on food delivery services instead of driving the 7 minutes to go get the food. That stuff starts to add up. Maximizing investments, increasing your savings rate, easily reviewing finances with your partner and or advisor, keeping a clear view of your financial health week to week. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB.
Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Cubs. That way you don't miss any of the great Cubs content we've got for you. That includes the Cubs postcast with Joe George live after the final out of every game. Kyle Tucker left the Cubs on Wednesday and will be in Tampa the rest of the week with hopes of an improved treatment for his strained calf. Tucker will be working with the same physical therapy team in Tampa that helped him back from a shin injury last year, as well as his offseason workouts. Tucker will rejoin the team Tuesday at Wrigley Field. However, when he will return to game action is still very much in doubt. He last appeared in a game way back on September 2nd. And while the Cubs are 13-6, without him, having their premier player in the lineup would no doubt be a requirement for me. For them making a run in the postseason. Sam, this is not good news.
No, when I read that this morning, that was pretty much I went to a 10 in terms of the panic meter of just like, okay, A, are we going to see him again? And B, Seiya Suzuki's probably going to be playing right field in a postseason game.
It's hard.
That's kind of where my mind went. So like now in a playoff game, every time a ball is hit to right field, I'm going to freak out.
That's a shame.
And that's best case, right? I mean, this just something's not right here. Like he's not able to run. And it's been what? It's 2.5, over 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, September 2nd.
I mean, it's it's a shame. It really is. And for him, if the worst case scenario did happen and he weren't able to return, I think he has to start looking at 1 or 2 year deals. How can you hand out a $400 million deal to a guy that played half the season last year and then
missed the last month of the free agent season
with a really weird year in between?
Yeah.
You know, the numbers are fine, but they're not, oh my goodness, like they were 2 years ago in his shortened season. There's some question marks with Kyle Tucker right now. There's no question, ironically, no question about it. But as far as the Cubs go, they need him in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, as in terms of storylines and him and the team and just as a fan, him not playing again would be a thud. And then if that meant he would never play for this team again, it would be...
That's a whole different conversation, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be too bad. But...
Did everything go okay with Seiya today? Because he got removed during the game.
I don't know.
But they showed him celebrating, so I assume he's good.
So maybe that was a scripted thing where they took him out at a certain point.
Yep.
Him returning today ensures that he wouldn't enter the playoffs cold.
Right.
Tucker is so elite that I do wonder if it's like, all right, we need him to show up on Tuesday the 30th.
No,
I would like him
for sure,
to play the last series, but he might not need to.
If he can go, he's going.
Yeah.
Like if he says, If his staff say, "Hey, look, we're targeting the 30th," the Cubs are going to say, "Great."
Right.
And
Right.
I'll say this. I'll add this to the table. If he could play right field, which I think right now is unlikely, but if he can't, if he could play right field, and the Cubs are facing a Cease King righty, I think there's a serious case to be made for Ballesteros to DH over Seiya if Seiya doesn't show any signs here the rest of the way.
Yeah, you got to put your best guys out there.
And your
Really
hottest guys
turned a
trend
corner.
wise. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, so
I
you're
need to
playing
see
the hot hand essentially.
I need to see Seiya hit a home run before September 30th, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, in the next 10 games.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I mean, I think Moises is on the playoff roster now. I did an outfield DH category now with Castro in there because he plays outfield now way more than infield. I still have Turner and Santana making it, although that could change in a longer series, I guess. And then bullpen, I have Assad over Brown right now. And if Daniel Palencia could come back, I would replace Hodge or Assad for Palencia if Palencia is ready.
Yeah, I don't think you need Assad and Soroka. So if Palencia is ready, Assad would go.
And optimistically, I do have Tucker in here and then the 3 starters. So
maybe in a 3-game set, do you really need Turner and Santana? Maybe that's where Hamilton slides in. I mean, they did. Why did they pick him up if it wasn't for that?
Yeah, he had an interview with the Des Moines Register yesterday because he's now with the iCubs. So that's a little bit of a more serious sign that they do want him.
Yeah,
at least for the short series. I guess it would be I'm sorry, I would mispronounce his name. Who's the lefty reliever for the Padres that was an all-star this year?
Morahone?
Yes. So, Sam, don't you think that Counsell would pinch hit Turner for Bush and then Hamilton would run and Santana would replace Hamilton?
Yeah, I guess to have Hamilton, you probably would want all 3.
Yeah, because that's really the player you would run for.
Right.
Because you're not going to run for Kelly because he needs to finish the game behind the dish.
But if you're down 1 in the 8th or 9th, you're running for anybody.
Okay.
Except Pete and Nico. Like if you're think about it, like if you're down 1 in the 8th and Kelly leads off with a hit, he's coming out. Because you just want to use Hamilton in the best spot to produce a run.
Right.
I mean, and probably not Dansby either, but like even Hap, like if Hap leads off with a hit, you're down 1 in the 9th inning, Hamilton's coming in because you're down. You have to score.
See, and I just wonder.
You don't worry about what you do after. What you do after is if you don't score, you go home.
And that's my point from earlier. That would be Counsell testing his parameters.
Oh, well, he'll do that.
But Seiya and Ballesteros would get run for too. Those are
Seiya, Ballesteros. I'm talking leadoff hitter gets on down 1 in the 9th. Yeah, you're running for pretty much anybody besides Nico, Pete, and then Dansby because they can run themselves. And probably Shaw, right? But
not probably because then who would play third?
But who cares when you're down 1? You know, you could put anybody there. You're down a run. You got to tie the game.
So this scenario is exclusively if you're trailing.
Yeah, exclusively if you're trailing. My guess is if you're down 1 in the 9th, Shaw's not going to hit versus a righty. I don't think they'd hit him versus Suarez. In that case, they'd probably just hit Santana.
Got it. And that would be a reason why he's on then too.
Yep.
One last question for you.
Yep.
What do you make, if anything, of that so we found out that this was Tucker's idea from Taylor McGregor during the game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you make anything of that to leave the team and go to Tampa?
I think he's frustrated and concerned and wants to get it right. So he wants to go with his people. In terms of the Cubs training staff, is that what you're insinuating?
Yeah, I mean, he's taken into his own hands. He's trying to find answers. That's not the company he works for. He's going to an outside company.
Yeah, I didn't think of
a workplace.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. Probably. I mean, we know how this team handles injuries. Let's just.
I know.
Let's just enjoy the postseason.
And I certainly did that on Wednesday. Sam will be back after Cubs-Reds Thursday. And we'll be with you all rest of the regular season and postseason long. Lots of content ideas, Sam, churning right now.
I'm sure. I
think
sure.
it's time to return to X Spaces.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever you say.
You got the shorts in full swing.
Yes, sir.
Is there a plan for a watch along? There's plans for pregame shows.
Pregame shows. Unfortunately, the playoffs fall on a really important holiday for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be hard. I have plans for if there's a game 3, for sure watch along. And then depending on game 1 and 2's times, I'm going to try and get one in. Wow. Like if it's early, I'm going to try. And then if they advance, then, we could be doing
or just do one for Cubs Brewers.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, back after Cubs-Reds Thursday night. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs, the playoff Cubs.
Shout out to Matt Cozy and Sam Olber, hosts of my favorite podcast, Locked On Cubs.